For decades, the U.S. Navy fought with the limits of aging fighters. But behind hangar doors and inside top-secret labs, a new shadow has been rising. A machine built not for the world today, but for a war no one is ready for. Today, the U.S. Navy finally confirms what many believed was only a rumor: the FAXX, America's first fully operational sixth-generation naval fighter.
Why the Navy needed FAXX. The F/A-18 Super Hornet has served for nearly 3 decades, a reliable workhorse, a carrier legend. But now, threats have evolved. The rise of Chinese stealth fighters, carrier killer missiles traveling at Mach 10, and advanced electronic warfare platforms all push the Navy into a corner. To survive the next conflict, the U.S. Navy needed more stealth, longer range, faster data processing, a pilot plus AI hybrid brain, and survivability inside future anti-access zones. This wasn't just a new aircraft. This was a new era of naval air dominance.
For years, the FAXXX existed only in leaks, speculation, and whispers. Analysts picked apart blurry images from California and Nevada test ranges. Some thought it was a drone. Some believed it was an evolution of the F-22. Others said it didn't exist at all. But in a quiet, unexpected announcement, the U.S. Navy finally used the words everyone was waiting for.
The FAXX isn't just a fighter. It's a system of systems. To be called sixth generation, it must include at least 5 revolutionary technologies. 1. AI-piloted combat brain, an advanced AI that fights with the pilot, detecting threats, managing sensors, and taking over during extreme maneuvers. 2. Drone wingman control, loyal wingman. FAXX can command stealth drones, decoy drones, recon drones, air-to-air combat drones. It is a carrier-based fighter with its own robotic squadron. 3. Next-level stealth geometry. Sharp chine lines, blended fuselage, no right angles, designed for invisibility across multiple radar spectrums. 4. Directed energy weapon integration. Not just missiles, but future laser weapon pods for destroying incoming aircraft and hypersonic missiles. 5. Advanced range plus next-gen engines, potentially using adaptive cycle engines, allowing high thrust when needed and extreme fuel efficiency during cruise. This is the difference between life and death in the Pacific theater.
The FAXX design is unlike any fighter currently on a carrier deck. Early indicators point to a diamond-like stealth body, a smooth dorsal spine, sensor fusion panels all over the aircraft, possible tailerons or even tailless design, hidden weapon bays larger than the F-35's. It is shaped not for speed alone, but for survival in a world filled with radar, sensors, drones, and space-based tracking. This isn't a fighter built for our skies. It's built for the most contested air battles in history.
At the heart of the FAXX lies a revolution, not a simple upgrade, but an entirely new approach to fighter propulsion. The U.S. Navy is testing a next-generation adaptive cycle engine, an engine that thinks, switching automatically between high thrust mode for dogfights, violent accelerations, and combat climbs, and high efficiency mode for ultra-long-range missions in the Pacific. Traditional jet engines force pilots into a choice, power or endurance, but the FAXX will demand both. It must take off from a carrier, strike targets thousands of miles away, and still have the fuel to fight. Adaptive cycle technology allows a third airflow stream, giving power when needed and stealthy, low-heat signature cruising when not. This engine doesn't just propel the FAXX, it keeps it alive.
The future battlefield won't rely on one radar frequency. China, Russia, and emerging nations now mix VHF radar for stealth detection, L-band arrays on warships, infrared search and track systems, space-based sensors, drone swarm surveillance. Traditional stealth aircraft were not designed for all of these, but the FAXX, it's engineered for a world where every spectrum hunts you. Stealth features include shape optimized for broadband stealth, radar absorbent materials that regenerate from heat, sensor seams hidden inside the skin, no protruding surfaces, near zero infrared signature through exhaust cooling. Unlike earlier stealth jets, the FAXX is not meant to disappear. It is meant to never be found in the first place.
The pilot of the FAXX will be human, but never alone. A built-in combat AI acts as tactical advisor, sensor manager, electronic warfare officer, weapons systems controller, emergency override system. This AI processes more data in 1 second than a human can process in a full minute. The AI can predict enemy flight paths, jam incoming threats faster than human reaction, manage multiple wingman drones, recommend strike routes, execute evasive maneuvers during blackout conditions. It's not replacing the pilot. It's giving the pilot superhuman decision-making. The enemies of tomorrow will fight with algorithms. The FAXX brings its own.
Carrier takeoff, the biggest engineering challenge. Every stealth jet on Earth faces one problem. They're big, heavy, and require long runways. The US Navy had a harder challenge: create a 6th-generation monster, but make it capable of launching from a floating runway. 3 engineering breakthroughs made this possible. 1. Lightweight composite structure. Carbon nanotube reinforced internal frame. Stronger than titanium, but lighter than aluminum-lithium alloys. 2. Foldable stealth wings. Unlike the F-35C, the FAXX uses internal hinge technology, keeping radar signature extremely low even when folded. 3. Next-gen EMALS tuning. Electromagnetic launch systems recalibrated specifically for the FAXX's shape and weight distribution. Launching a 6th-generation fighter from a carrier was once considered impossible, but for the FAXX, it is only the beginning of the mission.
The future weapons bay, silent but deadly. The FAXX carries its deadliest weapons where the world can't see them, inside a next-generation internal weapons bay, larger than anything the US Navy has ever put on a carrier fighter. Inside this bay, the aircraft can deploy. Air dominance loadout. AIM-260 JOTM, long-range air-to-air missile. AIM-120D+, enhanced beyond visual range missiles. AIM-9X Block 3, close combat dogfight missile. Strike mission loadout. Next-gen stealth cruise missiles, anti-ship hypersonic weapons, penetrator bombs for hardened targets, electronic warfare pods. Weapon bays aren't just for missiles, they can also hold stealth jammers, anti-radar pods, and cyber warfare modules. In the next war, the side that fires first and stays hidden wins. The FAXX is built for first sight, first shot, first kill.
The most powerful feature of the FAXX is not the jet itself, but the Air Force it commands. The US Navy plans for every FAXX to control its own fleet of stealth recon drones, electronic warfare drones, decoy swarms, long-range strike drones, air-to-air combat drones. These drones act as shield, sword, and scout. Shield. Drones block enemy missiles with electronic jamming, create false radar signatures, serve as sacrificial decoys. Sword. Carry extra missiles, attack targets the FAX assigns, perform combat maneuvers too dangerous for a human. Scout. Fly ahead with radar off, detect enemy aircraft from extreme ranges, relay real-time targeting data. The FAXX is not a fighter. It is a mobile command center leading a robotic fleet into battle.
If conflict ever erupts in the Indo-Pacific, air power will decide the outcome. Long distances, heavily defended airspace, hypersonic missiles, warships armed with multi-band radar. This is where the FAXX becomes irreplaceable. Why FAXX matters in the Pacific? 2 times range of the Super Hornet, ability to strike deep inside defended zones, drone swarms for early detection, broadband stealth that defeats ship radar, laser defenses for missile interception, data fusion to coordinate the entire carrier airwing. The FA-18 can no longer dominate this battle space. The F-35C is powerful, but it was not built for long-range Pacific warfare. The FAXX is the Navy's answer to China's expanding naval empire and the threat of cutting-edge foreign stealth fighters. By the 2030s, missiles may no longer be the only weapons fighters use to defend themselves. The FAXX is being designed with the option to carry directed energy weapons, high-powered lasers capable of burning through, incoming air-to-air missiles, drone swarms, enemy sensors, even low-flying hypersonic weapons. Why lasers matter? Unlimited ammo as long as there is power, instantaneous engagement, no radar signature, perfect for carrier defense missions. The FAXX may fly the first era where dogfights involve both missiles and beams of light. This weapon isn't science fiction anymore. It's the next escalation in aerial survival.
Electronic warfare, the invisible battle. 30 to 33. The next major war will not begin with missiles, but with electronic silence. In modern combat, who controls the electromagnetic spectrum controls the battlefield. The FAXX is built to dominate this invisible arena. EW superpowers of the FAXX. Multi-directional jamming arrays disrupt enemy radars in multiple bands simultaneously. Cyber-assisted signal injection creates false targets inside enemy radar systems. AI-driven threat recognition instantly identifies the type of radar scanning the aircraft and counters it automatically. Disruption pods inside the weapons bay. Stealthy, low signature, impossible to detect. While older fighters run from radar, the FAXX blinds it.
Information wins wars, and the FAXX is essentially a flying intelligence center. Its sensor fusion core merges radar, LiDAR, infrared, passive detection, electronic signals, drone data, satellite feeds, naval ship radar inputs. Everything is processed in real time and displayed to the pilot in a way that is intuitive and clean. The result? The pilot sees the entire battle space, enemy fighters, warships, missile trajectories, drones, all layered into a single unified picture. Before the enemy knows the FAXX is even there, the FAXX already knows the entire enemy formation. In the past, fighter jets communicated through linear radio channels, but future conflicts require something faster, stronger, and unbreakable. The FAXX uses mesh network warfare. How it works. Every friendly platform, drones, jets, ships, submarines, acts as a node. Destroy one node, the network simply reroutes data instantly. Benefits: impossible to jam completely. Massive data sharing across the battle group. Real-time targeting updates. Shared tracking of stealth aircraft. Drone swarms acting as network amplifiers. It's more than communication. It's digital unity. The FAXX turns a scattered military force into a single, synchronized organism. Every era of air power has its rivals. For the FAXX, the main challengers will be Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon, long-ranged, designed for anti-stealth missions, advanced IRST, heavy weapons capacity. Shenyang J-35, carrier stealth, China's F-35 equivalent, built for carrier warfare, lightweight stealth, good maneuverability. But both aircraft share one weakness. They are fifth-generation jets, living in a sixth-generation battle space. FAXX advantages: drone wingman control, adaptive engines, laser weapon options, superior sensor fusion, better electronic warfare, broadband stealth geometry, mesh network integration, AI tactical processing. China's fighters are dangerous, but they were built for the threats of today. The FAXX is designed for the threats of tomorrow. Russia's future fighters present a different kind of challenge: aggressive maneuverability, high-power radars, advanced missile systems. Su-57 Felon, strong super maneuverability, good infrared detection, mixed stealth features, limited production numbers. Su-75 Checkmate, still in development, light stealth multi-role concept, designed for export rather than dominance. While both aircraft bring strengths, neither is built for the data-driven, AI-enhanced warfare that defines the FAXX. Why the FAXX stands above: better stealth, deeper integration with naval assets, full drone swarm commandability, next-gen weapons, wider detection range, real-time AI battle analysis. The FAXX is not just faster or stealthier, it is smarter. And in the wars of the future, intelligence is the ultimate weapon.
The future of warfare and the dawn of the FAX era. How the FAX transforms carrier warfare, 40 to 43. Aircraft carriers have shaped global power for nearly a century. But against hypersonic missiles, swarm drones, and long-range radar, their survival is no longer guaranteed. The FAX changes everything. What the FAX brings to the carrier strike group: early detection of enemy fighters and missiles at extreme distances, deep strike capability far beyond the range of older jets, drone command integration, turning carriers into robotic hives, electronic shield coverage that protects entire battle groups, high-altitude surveillance with fused data links, laser-based missile interception to neutralize hypersonics. The FAX doesn't just protect the carrier, it becomes the carrier's eyes, its sword, and its shield.
The airwing of 2040, 43 to 45. By 2040, the U.S. Navy's carrier airwing will look nothing like the airwings of today. Projected Navy Airwing 2040. FAXX fighters, primary air dominance and command fighters, backbone of the fleet. F-35C stealth fighters, strike missions, ground attack, electronic warfare. MQ-25 tanker drones, air-to-air refueling for extended operations. UCAV strike drones, stealth unmanned combat aircraft for deep penetration. Loyal wingman swarms, controlled directly by FAXX pilots. This airwing is built not for regional wars, but for planet-scale power projection.
How the FAXX survives a first strike scenario, 45 to 47. If a war ever breaks out with China or another great power, the first strike will be brutal. Missiles, stealth aircraft, cyber attacks, swarms of unmanned drones, a modern Pearl Harbor. But the FAXX is built for exactly this moment. How it responds: instant launch using EMALs without long preparation, drone swarm deployment for early detection, lasers and jamming pods to neutralize inbound threats, deep strike into enemy radar zones before enemy jets even appear, full mesh network coordination with ships, subs, and satellites. It's not a jet that waits for orders. It's a jet that creates opportunities and eliminates threats before they fully materialize.
Beyond stealth, the era of intelligent air dominance. For decades, stealth was the ultimate advantage, but the future battlefield will be too crowded and too digitally complex for stealth alone to guarantee survival. The FAXX brings something new: intelligent air dominance. The 4 pillars: cognitive AI for split-second combat decisions, adaptive engines for long-range Pacific warfare, full-spectrum stealth against multi-band radar, robot wingmen multiplying combat power. It's more than a fighter jet. It's the beginning of a new military ecosystem.
What the FAXX really represents. Every generation of fighters has defined its era. The F-14 owned the Cold War skies. The F-A-18 ruled the seas for 30 years. The F-35 brought stealth to the carrier deck. But the FAXX, it represents something greater, a leap into a future where humans and artificial intelligence fight as one, where carriers become robotic command fortresses, where air dominance depends not on speed or firepower, but on information, coordination, and adaptability. The FAXX is not just a response to new threats. It is a declaration,
a promise that the U.S. Navy will shape, not react to, the future of aerial warfare.
And now, it is real. The sixth-generation fighter the world doubted, the project hidden in classified hangars, the machine meant for the battles no one wants to fight, has finally arrived.